What is creativity, and how do we unlock its full potential when surrounded in an idiocracy that rewards sensationalism, imitation, and mediocrity? I'm Dustin Byerly. I've spent 30 years in brand, narrative, film, music, and AI-driven workflows. I help people know who they are, brand from truth, and create with clarity. In this video, we'll talk about how people see creativity versus what it is, 3 creative archetypes and the pressure to conform, the 50-50 balance of logic and intuition, and the God-tier approach, inspiration beyond a material frame, and how to create with real impact. Creativity for non-creatives is generally seen as art. They go to their office job and hope someday to write a book or paint a masterpiece. They hear a song on the radio that moves them emotionally and may find it peculiar that somebody could make a living being so unique. Some even envy artists, putting them on a pedestal and designing their whole lives around their expression. Then there are the business creators, people who have jobs that require a blend of creativity and production skills. There's an art in it, and there's an art to it, but the primary focus here is creating something that increases profitability. And then there are the artists. These are the guys on mood stabilizers, getting up at noon and drinking coffee so they can grind until the wee hours of the morning, until one day they can birth their opus. Clearly I'm speaking in extremes, but I'm framing the generalities. You might call these 3 creative archetypes the creative inspired, the business creatives, and the artists. Looking at videos online, I was surprised to see people's interpretations of creativity. One video suggests that since nothing is original, what you do is collect a bunch of information and then try different pairings of ideas to see if something works. I found this uninspired antidote rather disturbing. It was presented as though it was just data being recycled, that somehow through a logical process, things could be put in an order that was deemed creative. And it made me realize that people rely so much on logic and thinking that a lot of people are stuck in it, and that they're missing out completely on the other half of life. I mean the part you can't track, that doesn't make sense, that's invisible. The famous intuitive Edgar Cayce called it the night side of life. Although somewhat mysterious, it generally means what we're not conscious of or can't sense materially. You might think of this as the things the right side of your brain processes or notices, the invisible space artists pull from. It's a term that represents 50% of our reality, yet our current material view doesn't account for it. Most likely because since we cannot contain, control, or measure it, it's conveniently discarded out of fear. And this sheds light on a state of mind that is in direct conflict with creativity. It's not that some people are creative while others are not. It's that all people have varying degrees of balance between the two. And once you grasp that balance, it's easy to see what distorts it in the real world. Here is where the culture we live in adds pressure. An idiocracy rewards sensationalism, copycats, and mediocrity. So a story spreads that says tone down your individuality to succeed. That story looks safe and professional, yet it drains the charge from your work. The ones who shine choose a different path. They keep their individuality present and pair it with craft, context, and standards, and people answer that with attention and respect. This is the first move for unlocking creativity inside that environment. Refuse the trade, keep your edges, and increase quality, and let results carry your signature. Once you choose that stance, the so-called idiocracy loses leverage. Ray Bradbury, who I had the pleasure to meet, took it even further. He said he wouldn't allow himself to think at all while writing, and even had a sign above his typewriter that said, "Don't think." It was invisible and made no sense until it came through, but then the magic spoke for itself. No explanation. So at this point, I propose a 4th creative archetype, what I might call, although somewhat inspired by needing to create a catchy title for this video, the God-tier creative. This type of creative is a blend of all 3 of the previous archetypes we reviewed earlier. They're inspired by art, they understand the balance of business and art, and they simultaneously embody the fragility and genius of the artist archetype. The perfect balance of strong logic and strong intuitive awareness, working in real time, like a dance. One example might play out something like this. You get a feeling that you want to express something. That's the intuitive. And then the logical analyzes the context of the expression and appropriateness based on the circumstances. The logical then informs the intuitive that adjustments need to be made for maximum impact, and the dance between the two continues until a balance is reached. Then, what's outwardly expressed is inspired, yet highly effective. And you can also play this out the other way. You may instead start with a specific goal. Knowing this goal, one may relax their mind and allow the goal to float around in an intuitive, non-logical state, and watch as inspirations arise. You can feel that one inspiration stands out more than the others, and then that specific intuition is brought up to conscious awareness for the logical mind to refine. This process repeats, moving from the logical to the intuitive, until what you end up with is inspired, yet refined to meet your specific objective. The key point is that the result embodies both logic and intuition. So you can see in this that teaching creativity can't be taught by logic alone. If any of this inspires you, feel free to sign up for my free weekly newsletter. You can find the link above or in my video description below. And this leads us to, what does this all mean? Creativity comes from inspiration. So the question becomes, where does inspiration come from? And this is where the second level of the God tier creative comes in. Inspiration comes from God. And it sounds like a loaded statement, so let me explain. A strict materialist view narrows possibility. It reduces a person to a body and an expiration date. When the boundaries are placed at the crossroads of your skin and a countdown timer, attention collapses inward, goals shrink to personal comfort, and the idea of building towards something in the future loses meaning. The result is that what should feel like a spirited pep rally ends up feeling flat, efficient, and airless, more like a funeral than an environment that fosters inspiration. And although not fashionable, this is where the idea of God comes in. Not in some traditional or specific definition, but as a relationship between your inner and outer worlds, a connection between yourself and others, the existence of a consciousness that lives independent of time and space, recognizing that your consciousness doesn't end at the outer layer of your skin, but encompasses everything. In this, we're inspired to function in a greater fashion, and we're freed from a myopic prison of self-focus. When we adopt the view that what we do today matters tomorrow, and that the work that we do on ourselves and the work we do to inspire others lasts, then all of a sudden we have a multitude of reasons to be inspired to create. The view shifts, and creativity becomes an investment in eternity. You see, creativity is not just about you as an individual. It's a relationship that extends deep within and infinitely outward. We witness its value when what we create has impact in the world, or shakes something free within ourselves. When possibility, clarity, and inspiration is passed like a single candle that can light infinite flames of inspiration for others. Look to those who inspire. Observe their actions and behaviors. See how they move in the world. This is where creativity lives. They're taking disparate elements and shaping and rearranging them into patterns that create movement. Inspiration to go from here to there, from limitation into possibility. And in these people, you'll find that creativity is not just art, but the art of life itself. So am I offering any techniques or skills to help you be more creative? Not really, but what I can offer is a vision of possibility, from limited to unlimited, a fertile ground that creativity can grow from. We're not here to serve somebody else's ideas, limited beliefs, or mundane views of life. We're here to honor our own visions and inspirations in a celebration of life and each other. And if we gave this spirit a name, whether you call it spirit, Gaia, love, possibility, the divine feminine, Allah, God, or simply just being a person who cares, in this name we find inspiration to create and to be of service to each other. Want direct help with your brand or project? Book a one-on-one session with me for clear next steps and momentum. Book your session today at dustinbyerly.com